So I just realized it halfway through the third murder case, and that's the fact that something that symbolizes the murder case will be on the cover of the book. Like in book one, it was the hand of the escape room killer's girlfriend's hand that he cut off to frame the male lead. And then for this one, it's a cruise ship because in the third murder case, they're on a cruise ship. So the main character almost hits a teenage girl with his car, and he helps her to the cruise ship that she's celebrating a birthday party on. And he arrives, and the birthday girl, who is the rich girl, basically is like, "You're coming on the ship with us." And the main character's like, "Okay, I'll go with you." Even though he's kind of terrified after the situation of basically being treated like a host when he was, instigating Miss T. He's a little terrified, but he still goes, and he ends up kind of having fun at first. He's like having teenage girl gossip with them, teenage girl games, like he's just having fun with them until he kind of gets pranked by them and ends up getting handcuffed. Yeah, one of the girls faked that she was murdered. The rich girl faked that she was murdered. And they're all like, "Oh, you're the only person that's not part of our group." So they handcuffed him because they thought he murdered her. And then later they found out he did not murder her. And they're like, "We're going to leave him there to suffer." So at first he was having fun playing games, gossiping with these girls, and now he's handcuffed. A chemical engineer or his wife, I'm not sure who sends it, but they send a letter to the childhood friend basically threatening if he doesn't solve the murder case / disappearing case of their daughter, then they will blow up the ship the rich girl and all her friends are on, the one that the main character is on, or they will kill each girl each day. For 7 days, they will kill one girl because there is typically enough girls on the ship for them to kill. Yeah, they threatened that. So the chemical engineer's daughter was being bullied by the rich girl and her friends, typically only 3 other of her friends. So 2 of the people on the ship was innocent. But yet these people severely bully the girl, like to the point they ended up murdering this girl by their bullying. And the day she got murdered, she was supposed to meet up with the helper girl because she thought the helper girl was a boy because the helper girl was pretending to be a boy to find friends on the internet. And she's supposed to meet the helper girl at an internet cafe, except she never made it. And the helper girl had left the internet cafe because she saw cops there and she freaked and left because she was a middle school girl and couldn't stay. But yeah, the chemical engineer's daughter had left home thinking she was going to meet up with her boyfriend, which was actually the helper girl. But instead she ran into her bullies and it wasn't good for her. So the first person to be attacked on the ship is ship's captain. He gets murdered. He is dead. The girls are freaking out. Main character's handcuffed, so he can't do much to help until he gets himself free, which he injures himself to free himself. The second person to be attacked is the sick girl. She has a high case of diabetes, and they used her diabetes against her. If it hadn't been for the main character's advice to the helper girl, this girl would have died. And so they saved her life, and she reveals to the tutor, who is actually the chemical engineer's wife, what happened that day. So she reveals they severely bullied the heck out of the poor chemical engineer's daughter, and she had left. Like, she was super jealous of the girl, and she knew that if this girl won the competitions, her dreams in competitions would be ruined, except sooner or later afterwards competition, she ended up getting a high case of diabetes, so her dreams in competitions were kind of ruined for a long time. But yeah, when she left, the girl was still kind of alive. She had left, but she was the one who told them to get rid of the body. Like, she admits she was the one that told them to get rid of the body. Basically, there was this recording going off that basically threatened the girls into confessing or picking someone to sacrifice next, just like the sick girl. And they all picked the smart girl to be sacrificed, which upsets her, and she physically threatens the other girls with a knife. The tutor steps in, gets in between the, girl and the other girls. The other girls are sent to their rooms. And she confesses to the tutor what happened that night. She did want to call the cops, but she knew her life will be ruined. Because unlike the other girls, she was 14. And if she was 14, she could actually be convicted for murder, unlike the other girls. So she kept her mouth shut because she had a promising future with her intelligence. But she told the tutor when she was there, the, chemical engineer's daughter was still alive. but was dying. Like, she kind of wanted to take the girl to the hospital. It was like, my life will be ruined anyways. And the rich girl stated she was getting her brother to come and help with the situation. When she left, that was the last thing she knew. The druggy girl is the fourth person to be under attack. Basically, the tutor gave her drugs, and she took the drugs, and the drugs lured her to the ship's deck, where she would trip on, olive oil and fall to her death. Luckily, the main character at this point was able to free himself, because at this point the main character had been handcuffed still, but the main character was able to save him, free himself, and come to the girl's rescue, saved her. And we saw in her flashbacks that she was one of the last girls to stay with the rich girl when the chemical engineer's daughter was still kind of alive. And last thing she saw of the chemical engineer's daughter was the ship's captain, the rich girl's brother coming and picking them up, she being dropped off, and the chemical engineer's daughter being in the trunk of the car, and she being threatened to keep her mouth shut because the rich girl's been giving her money this entire time, and if she doesn't keep her mouth shut, her life will be ruined. And then months later, the ship's captain comes to her, threatening her with an ID card that's covered in blood, her ID card, and threatens her that if she doesn't if she doesn't do what he says, he will take this ID card to the police officers. So she does what he wants, and he wanted her to sell drugs and take drugs. And she started bringing drugs into her fancy-dancy all-girls school. Yeah.